I just want to invest in people that really want to be the best that they can be.
Hello, everyone. It's Todd Scrima and Robyn LaVassaur. We do a podcast once a month for our past clients, people that have closed loans with Summit Funding. Last count, there was like 242,000 of you. So thank you for supporting the company. By the way, today is our birthday. I don't know if you know this, Robyn. We turned 28 years today. 28 years ago, Summit was incorporated. So happy birthday, Summit. Our buddy, our sidekick here, Jimmy Reed, is not with us today because he decided to buy a house and he's moving. So Robyn and I, it's hard for us to schedule us around each other. So we're just doing this. We're doing this called professional value. And there's an old saying that you are who you hang around. So let me start with a quick story. I am not an extravagant person at all. I was raised on a farm. I lived very simply. I never got into the Ferraris. I never got into that stuff. But a few years ago, it was my dream to have a boat. And not a little boat, like a little bit bigger boat. And I don't know why. It's literally been a childhood dream. So I'm like, I'm going to buy this boat. So I get referred to this boat broker. And we have like a 15-minute call. And then he starts sending me listings and stuff of boats, none of which fit my description. So I get frustrated. I call him. We have a brief conversation. He says, okay, I'll change it, blah, blah, blah. No personal meeting at all, nothing. So I'm frustrated. So I got a buddy who my kids went to school with, and he has boats like I'm looking for. So I call him on a Saturday. He says, oh, you got to call this guy, Sean. So I call Sean on a Saturday. Sean calls me right back. And Sean's like, hey, do you have like an hour? I said, yes, I do. It's Saturday morning. He asked me, I'm not exaggerating, 50 questions. Price range, what am I going to use it for? Where's it going to be at? What interests me? What memories do I want to create? How much do I know about boats? I mean, on and on and on. And then he says, smart salesperson, he says, he knows he needs to get a face-to-face. He says, hey, when are you available to come to San Francisco? I've got a few boats to show you here because I need to visually see what you like and don't like, even though I asked you all these questions. I said, well, I could come down there next Wednesday in the evening. He says, great. So I meet him down there. Look at these boats. And I looked at one and I said, dude, this is it. I mean, show me this boat. He says, that's not for sale, but I'll find you one like that. A month later, we found one. We flew together to Seattle and we bought a boat. I could go on and on about this guy. To this day, he'll randomly text me and stay in touch with me, calls me. We have a similar hobby. He sends me pictures of him doing the hobby. So he was great at the presentation, finding my needs, fulfilling my needs. When I went to pick up the boat with my family, he had called my assistant, found out all my favorite snacks and drinks, and filled the whole boat. I'm talking $400 or $500 worth of snacks in my boat when I picked it up. I mean, over the top service level, over the top emotionally intelligent, over the top with knowing what my needs were, drilling down on questions. And that's what today's about is how to find those people, because those people make or break your finances, boat buying a piece of real estate, on and on and on and on. Finding the true professionals, because it's about 5% of them, 10% in every industry. So how do they do that, Robyn?
Well, I mean, I think a couple things. There's so much information these days at our fingertips. That can be good and bad, right? Being able to jump on the internet, being able to Google something, being able to, and nowadays, you would like to think that it truly was just based on reviews and those things, but everybody can kind of pay and buy to get themselves bumped up. And so it really is hard. One, I would say always getting a true verbal, like personal testimony from somebody that like and trust that says that's similar to you, right? Like something that you might value a ton, Todd, might not be as valuable to somebody else, right? And so when you're in your friend circle, those kind of things, and you say, hey, can anybody connect me? You know, what do they say? You can meet anybody in the world through 5 people that you know once we're expanding. I think we get a little bit lazy around this, if you will, a little bit convenient, and then we get frustrated with the outcome of who we ended up working with, right? As if everybody in the professional world, and I'm talking, you could say all the way from hairstylist to dentist to, CPA to financial advisor to boat broker to, all the, car salesman. I mean, if you think about the wide counselor, pediatrician, I mean, there's such a wide variety, if you will, of professionals that impact our lives. And yet sometimes we don't really take that seriously and what it could do to save you maybe time, continue to make you money, and then also bring you joy, which I really hear in the story that you just talked about. He did all 3. He really did all 3, if we're being honest, right? Like he filled the gap in all 3 areas and then continued to stay in contact. If we're stopping and thinking about it, and I think we've mentioned this before, but I'm just going to say it again out loud. How many times does an insurance agent reach out to you, Todd, and ask if anything's changed in your life every, let's call it 3 to 6 months, at a minimum annually, and if coverages are right for the expensive things these days, for values that have gone up, that have really made the adjustments and talked you through what's needed in insurance? How many in your life?
Last time I had to call her, and I had to set an appointment because I was concerned that I was underinsured.
And that matters when stuff's happening, right? It matters when all of a sudden you don't think it's going to be you, but something happens. I mean, this is like a cheesy story, but 4 years I wore my hair short-ish and dark, like really, really dark. And the truth is, I was tired of it. I'm a girl, Todd. We like to change our hair often, right? Like it's a thing. I was getting my hair done by a gal that was fine. I knew her through my kids. She'd done my hair for a long time. The truth is, she was generally late to the appointment. She canceled pretty frequently. And she basically told me there was no way for me to wear my hair long or have any sort of color in it. It just wouldn't take. I'll never forget talking to another hairdresser randomly, who happened to be a loan client, actually. And we sat there talking, and I'm, where do you work? Yada, yada. And we just, there was just that connection. And she was telling me about her journey of becoming a hairdresser and how she was an apprentice for years. And she, all of the things, she's like, I know it seems complicated, but there's actually so much more to it. There's constant, training and updates that I can do on my licensing and on color techniques and on this and on this. And as she's explaining it, I feel this joy from her. And I finally said to her, my hairdresser says this is the only thing that'll work, right? Like this hair right here. And she's like, oh, no. Will you just come see me? And what's funny about that is ever since then, we have become dear friends. She's referred countless clients to me. I've referred countless clients to her. She literally travels to my kids' weddings and does hair for the entire wedding party. Like the amount of time, joy. Now, here's what's funny. Guess who's more expensive? Her or my old friend?
Her.
Guess who's more worth it?
Her.
All day, every day. There is so much. Every person that I could ever, my mom doesn't really like to venture out, if you will. My dad was sick. I literally am telling her about it. And she's like, I'll go to their house. I'll literally take care of you. And she goes to my mom and dad's house before my dad passed away. And then with my mom, and took care of their hair for me to make them feel great. Like there's so much value in a real professional, but also what ironically turns into a personal potential relationship where someone is on your side, right? Someone is really connected to you. And obviously for us, Todd, that's what we want to be at Summit in lending. And hopefully that's how your loan officer was with you. If you're a past client of ours right now, I would say demand that of people, right? If nobody's willing to ask you questions, but simply take orders, if nobody's willing to give you their background and you can't see passion around what they do. I love to go to a specific restaurant here in town. I'll give you another just short little quick side story. The owner of it is in his late 70s, early 80s, and his name's Eve. And he loves it. And yes, the food is good, and yes, the atmosphere is great. But Todd, when I go in there, the way that Eve walks around and greets everybody, the way that he watches the room enjoy the food that is served, the way that he side-eyes every single plate that goes out, the way that he stands in front of you and his signature dish is steak Diane and bananas Foster, and cooks it tableside and hands it to you and watches you take a couple bites and make sure that it's this good. When I take people in town there, it's not because it's the cheapest, obviously, but it's not the most expensive. It's truly because of the level of professionalism that the owner exhibits every single day, the passion for what he does and how he delivers it to somebody. And that's what I just think we all should demand in our life. And the truth is, all of our lives would be a little bit better if our circle took care of, you exhibited that in what your own profession is, and then your circle took care of you that way. I guarantee you'd have more joy, more time, and ultimately more money in every area of your life for hiring the team of professionals.
That's so good. So good. Ladies and gentlemen, I just think this is one of those kind of undercurrent stories, like tips that if you're using, what Robyn's saying is, if you're using different professionals and they're letting you down and they're not pleasing you, you're not overjoyed to work with them, be okay with changing and finding someone that does exhibit that professionalism, that joy of serving you, because that's kind of the magic, is when the experience level and expertise matches the personality, the joy that you just look forward to dealing with them. Well, that's the magic. I got a gift for you guys. I've offered this up. So about a year and a half ago, I've been very fortunate. I've spent thousands of hours learning how to save money, invest money, how to do different real estate deals. What I did for our past clients is I created a kit. It's an online kit that's free to you for being a past client. It's called the Wealth Starter Kit. If any of you, I know we've sent out stuff about that, and a lot of you have taken advantage, but if you don't have it yet and you want it, it's about 10 hours of just different financial tips and tricks, I guess is what you would say, that I've learned. And I kind of condensed everything I know into these 10 hours. If you would like a copy of that, simply text me, because it's my way of knowing that you're getting taken care of. Some people think I'm crazy giving out my cell phone. I tell people, don't call me, but you could text me. I get like 300 a day. So text me. I'll have someone send it to you for free. My cell phone number is 916-769-9031. You simply got to text me your name. Say, Todd, heard you want your Wealth Starter Kit. Here's my email. I will have one of my team members send it to you and give you the online passcode for free. And you can watch it on your phone, watch it on your computer, and whatever device you have. But it's my gift to you, and as a way of saying thank you for being part of the Summit Funding family and returning to us again and again for all your mortgage needs. So we really appreciate it. Okay, guys, with that, Robyn, thank you very much. Have a beautiful month, guys. I appreciate you guys.
Bye.